The night my father threw me and my 8-year-old son out into the snow, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I just looked at my family, people who shared my blood, my childhood, my history, and said one sentence that changed everything. Then you won't mind me doing this. They laughed at first. 15 minutes later, they were on their knees begging. But to clearly understand why and what actually happened, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to the day my life cracked open, and everyone saw an opportunity inside the pieces. The call came at 2:58 p.m. on a Thursday. I remember the time because I was sitting in my car outside Noah's elementary school, tapping the steering wheel, waiting for the dismissal bell. Snow flurries drifted lazily across the windshield. The radio was playing some forgettable pop song. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. "Hello," I said. "Is this Ava Collins?" a woman asked, her voice tight and professional. "Yes. This is St. Vincent Medical Center. Your husband, Daniel Collins, was brought in after a workplace accident. You need to come immediately." The rest of her sentence blurred into noise. Workplace accident. Immediately. I don't remember driving. I don't remember calling my sister. I don't remember who picked Noah up from school. What I remember is the smell of antiseptic. The humming lights. The way the doctor wouldn't quite meet my eyes when he said the words. "I'm sorry. We did everything we could." Daniel was 36 years old. He never came home. The funeral was 4 days later. It was cold. Bitterly cold. One of those gray winter days where the sky feels heavy enough to crush you. My parents were there, Robert and Elaine Collins, sitting stiffly in the front row. My older sister Claire sat beside them, dabbing her eyes with a tissue like she was on stage. People hugged me, told me I was strong, told me Daniel was in a better place. Noah stood beside me, small hand clenched in mine, wearing a black coat that was slightly too big. He didn't cry. He just stared at the casket like he was waiting for his dad to get out. After the service, during the reception at the church hall, I stepped into the hallway to breathe. That's when I heard them. Claire's voice, low and urgent. "She can't do this alone, Mom. You know that, right? A single mother, grieving, no structure. Noah needs stability." My heart stopped. I waited for my mother to shut her down. Instead, Elaine sighed. "We'll talk about it later. Let her get through the funeral first." I backed away quietly. I told myself they were just worried. Just being practical. Families say things they don't mean when emotions are high. That was my first mistake. At the burial, my father pulled me aside. His hand was heavy on my shoulder, not comforting, possessive. "Ava," he said, voice flat. "You need to pull yourself together. Noah needs you functional, not emotional." I stared at him. "I just buried my husband. And life doesn't stop for grief," he replied. "Crying doesn't bring men back." Men. That was it. That was all my father said to me on the worst day of my life. I didn't realize then that grief wasn't the problem. Money was. 3 months after Daniel's death, the insurance payout arrived. Daniel had insisted on the policy when Noah was born. "Just in case," he'd said. I'd rolled my eyes back then. We were young. Careful. Nothing bad was supposed to happen. The payout was $1.9 million. I remember staring at the number on my banking app, my hands shaking. This wasn't a gift. It was the price of my husband's life. The day the money landed, my family changed. Not slowly. Instantly. Claire started calling twice a week. "Just checking in," she'd say brightly. "How are you holding up?" My mother began inviting us for Sunday dinners. Every week. No excuses accepted. "Family needs to stick together," she said. Even my father, who had barely spoken to me since my wedding, suddenly wanted to catch up. By the 4th Sunday dinner, Robert cleared his throat at the head of the table. "Ava," he said, folding his hands. We've been talking. That alone made my stomach tighten. You should let Claire help manage your finances. She's good with money. You've always been emotional. I set my fork down. I already have an accountant, I said. And a financial planner. Daniel set everything up. The room went quiet. Claire smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. We're just worried about you, she said. You've never handled this kind of responsibility before. I nodded. I appreciate the concern. But I've got it handled. The temperature dropped. After dinner, as I was helping Noah into his coat, a thin hand caught my wrist. My grandmother Ruth. 84 years old. Sharp eyes. Sharp mind. Be careful, she whispered. Money shows people who they really are. She slipped a folded paper into my palm. There's someone you may need, she said. Call him if things start feeling wrong. I didn't open the paper until I got home. A phone number. And a name. Ethan Hale. Not yet. I told myself I was imagining things. That grief was making me suspicious. That families fight sometimes. 6 months passed. Claire's calls became less friendly. Dad's business isn't doing well, she mentioned casually. Mom's blood pressure meds are expensive. It must be hard sitting on all that money while everyone struggles. Then came the night my mother called crying. Actual crying. Your father is going to lose the shop, she sobbed. 30 years. Ava. 30 years of his life. My chest tightened. Despite everything, they were still my parents. I can help, I said. I'll lend you 40,000. No interest. Silence. Then my father's voice, booming through the phone. I don't need charity from my own daughter. Claire jumped in smoothly. What Dad means is, it would be simpler if you signed a few documents. Let me handle things properly. What documents? I asked. Just power of attorney. Asset oversight. Standard stuff. Power of attorney. Daniel's voice echoed in my head. Never sign away control. Especially not to family. I need time, I said. Claire's sweetness cracked. We don't have time. I do, I replied and hung up. That night, I finally called the number my grandmother had given me. The next afternoon, I came home from work to find Noah curled on his bed, face buried in his pillow. My heart dropped. Buddy, I said softly. What happened? It took 10 minutes before he spoke. Grandma Elaine said something. My stomach twisted. What did she say? His voice barely worked. She said, she wishes Daddy was still alive instead of you. Because Daddy knew how to take care of me. I felt something inside me tear clean in half. I pulled him into my arms. That's not true, I whispered. Not for 1 second. I love you more than anything in this world. That night, after Noah fell asleep, I opened social media. A cousin I barely spoke to had messaged me. Hey Ava, is it true you've been spending the insurance money recklessly? Claire mentioned something. I searched the family group chat. I wasn't in it anymore. But someone sent me screenshots. A post from Claire. Please pray for my sister. Sudden wealth has been hard on her judgment. We're trying to help, but she keeps pushing us away. 46 comments. All pitying me. All believing her. That's when I knew. This wasn't concern. It was a plan. Ethan Hale's office overlooked the river. He was in his late 30s, calm, sharp-eyed. The first thing I noticed was the photo on his desk. Him and Daniel. College graduation. Arms slung over each other. Daniel asked me to watch out for you, Ethan said quietly. If anything ever happened. I told him everything. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back and exhaled. They're not worried about you, he said. They're positioning. He slid documents across the desk. Emails. Phone records. Business filings. Your father's company is weeks from bankruptcy, he said. And your sister's drowning in debt. My hands shook. They want control, he continued. Not help. Control. What do I do? I asked. Ethan met my eyes. Nothing. Yet. 3 days before Christmas, Claire showed up at my apartment. Designer coat. Perfect makeup. Manila folder in hand. You'll come to Christmas dinner, she said. Grandma Ruth's house. 7 p.m. I'll come, I said. But I'm not signing anything. Her smile hardened. Then don't come at all. That night, my father called. You sign those papers, he said, or you're not part of this family anymore. I looked at Noah sleeping peacefully in his room. Then we'll see what happens, I said. I knew it was a trap. I just didn't know how far they'd go. Grandma Ruth met me at the door. She pulled me into her study, locked it, and handed me a thick envelope. Don't open it until tomorrow night, she said. You'll know when. What's inside? I asked. She smiled, a hard, knowing smile. Insurance. The kind no one ever sees coming. By the time Christmas Eve arrived, I already knew something my family didn't. They thought I was broken. They thought the snow had finally done its job. They thought silence meant surrender. The dining room looked exactly the way it always did. Too bright, too staged, like a room designed for photographs instead of people. My mother had gone all out, probably because she believed this would be the night she finally fixed me. Candles lined the table. Gold-rimmed plates. Fake pine garlands draped over the windows. My daughter Lily squeezed my hand as we stood just inside the doorway. She was wearing the red coat I bought her myself, the one my mother had once called a bit much for a child who doesn't know her place. I bent down to her level. Stay close to me, I whispered. No matter what. She nodded. My father didn't even look at us at first. He was too busy pouring himself a drink, already loud, already confident. Well, he said finally, turning around. You actually came. My sister smirked from her seat. I told you she would. She doesn't have anywhere else to go. I felt Lily's grip tighten. I didn't respond. Silence has a way of making cruel people uncomfortable. They mistake it for weakness because they don't understand restraint. My mother gestured toward the far end of the table, the worst seats, as usual. Sit, she said. Let's get this over with. We sat. Dinner began like a performance. Small talk that wasn't meant for me. Jokes that circled around my supposed failures without naming them directly. My sister laughed too loudly at everything my father said. My mother kept glancing at me, checking for cracks. None came. Finally, my father cleared his throat and placed a folder on the table. There are some things we need to finalize, he said. Adult things. My sister leaned forward. This is for your own good, Ava. I looked at the folder. Then I looked at my daughter. Then I looked back at them. Go on, I said calmly. My mother slid the papers toward me. You've made poor decisions since your husband passed. Emotionally unstable ones. We think it's best if your father temporarily manages certain assets. Just until you're better. There it was. The trap. Power of attorney. Custodial leverage. Financial control disguised as concern. My sister added softly, if you don't sign, we can't help you. And if we can't help you, she glanced at Lily. Well, you know how these things go. I picked up the papers. I read them. Then I placed them neatly back on the table. No, I said. The room froze. My father slammed his glass down. Excuse me. I said no. My sister scoffed. Don't be dramatic. My mother leaned in, her voice suddenly sharp. Ava, don't embarrass yourself. I stood up. Lily stood with me. That's when I said the words they would later wish they could erase. Then you won't mind me doing this. I reached into my bag. And everything changed. The lawyer entered the room less than 2 minutes later. My father actually laughed at first. "What is this?" The lawyer placed a stack of documents on the table, thicker than my mother's folder, heavier in every sense. "I'm here on behalf of Ava Reynolds," he said. "And her daughter." My sister's smile vanished. My mother's face drained of color. The lawyer continued, calm and precise. "These documents include a full accounting of misappropriated funds, forged signatures, and coercive financial control spanning the last 18 months. My father stood up. "This is ridiculous." "Oh," the lawyer said, opening the first file. "It's very real." He slid photos across the table. Bank statements, emails, audio transcripts. My sister reached for one page, hands shaking. That is your handwriting," the lawyer said. "Confirmed by a forensic analyst." My mother whispered, "Ava." I looked at her for the first time that night. "You said Christmas is better without me," I said softly. "I just wanted to make sure you got what you wanted." The lawyer cleared his throat. "There's also documentation proving emotional abuse, attempted custodial manipulation, and unlawful eviction during winter conditions involving a minor." My father's face turned red. "You ungrateful." "Sir," the lawyer interrupted, "I strongly suggest you stop speaking." The room collapsed inward. My sister started crying first. Loud, messy, desperate. "We can fix this," she said, reaching for me. "Ava, please. We're family." My mother stood, hands trembling. "Undo this. Please. We didn't mean." 15 minutes ago, I said, "you told me to leave and never return." They begged. All of them. My father, who once threw us into the snow, dropped to his chair like a deflated balloon. My sister promised apologies she'd never mean. My mother whispered prayers that came too late. I felt nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Just clarity. I turned to the lawyer. "We're done here." He nodded. As we walked toward the door, Lily looked back. "Mom," she whispered, "are they going to be okay?" I squeezed her hand. "They'll have consequences," I said. "That's not the same thing." The fallout took months. There were investigations, courtrooms, quiet phone calls from relatives who suddenly didn't know the full story. I never corrected them. My parents lost more than money. They lost credibility, community standing, control. My sister moved away. I haven't heard from her since. And me. I built something new. A small house. Warm floors. Laughter that didn't feel earned through pain. Lily sleeps through the night now. Sometimes, on cold evenings, I remember the snow. But it doesn't haunt me. It reminds me. Silence is not weakness. And walking away, prepared, is the most powerful revenge of all. Moral lessons. This story reminds us that silence is not weakness, and patience is not surrender. When people mistake your restraint for powerlessness, they reveal their own dependence on control and cruelty. True strength isn't found in shouting, begging, or revenge fueled by rage. It's found in preparation, boundaries, and self-respect. Family ties do not excuse abuse, and love that demands humiliation is not love at all.